In terms of Agile delivery, what's working well in your organisations?
One of the problems that we've always had is our clients are usually incredibly thinly stretched when it comes to the resource that they have available. To be able to iteratively just say, look, this is what we're going to be doing right now, this is what we're thinking about, then they can just make a snap decision on that point, get something out, then we can get proper user testing done on it, rather than waiting 6-8 months, getting something out and finding out we were completely wrong in the first place.
Yeah.
And they've wasted their internal resource reviewing what could potentially take them 2-3 weeks of review rather than 2-3 minutes for a simple prototype.
That kind of constant interaction as you're going forward, like prototyping and this is version 1, but we could change this and we think this is what you mean. The more you're involved in the actual development, this is my product as well as your product, the more chance the product itself has of being successful at the end.
That's like a huge epiphany for the business when they suddenly see you're actually showing them stuff rather than giving them a highlight report.
It's very expensive to take something out to market and find that the adoption isn't there. So we've got to be absolutely sure that the quality and the feedback is there from the start. And then, as you said, it's those feedback loops right through, taking them through the journey of reviewing what you're doing, feeding back into it at every stage. And then we're kind of making sure that we're honing in to their needs. And we find that really successful.
We mitigate risk much more effectively on using an Agile way of working by testing assumptions, by having short feedback loops, by failing fast.
When we were working more waterfall, we would have a very rigid structure. It didn't account for overrun, and therefore there was a lot of disappointment in terms of setting those expectations quite early on, too early on. We use TFS now as our Scrum board, and as part of that, the more we get into refinement, the more we're able to forecast the likely delivery of a piece of work based on the effort that we assign to it. And it's given us ability to be able to be more flexible in terms of our delivery schedule and setting those expectations.
I found that using Scrum and Agile and helped me to have a high level of commitment from the team. And that helped the productivity, but also the quality of the final work. Because they're much more committed because they do the estimates, we have the retrospectives, we talk together and we see what's wrong, what's not going well.
Looking at it another way, I think sometimes what it does is it kind of puts a human face on both sides. So the developers realise that they're actually building stuff for people, and actually those people are quite nice. And the business or the customers realise that they're not dealing with kind of weird robots that kind of cut code and do testing. They're like kind of hardworking, intelligent, nice people that are doing their best. And that breaks down significant cultural barriers sometimes, and that can only be beneficial, I think.